Welcome to the Wrestling Still Cool podcast. My name is KM. That's Mark.
Hey, y'all. Appreciate joining in.
All right, so we're going to do a retro review here. This is the 1997 World War III pay-per-view from WCW, coming from the Auburn Hills, Michigan. This took place on November 23rd, 1997. I'm pretty sure that this probably paired up pretty closely to Survivor Series of that year.
Well, yeah, it was just November pay-per-view.
Right, I just mean because Survivor Series usually is around Thanksgiving, and I'm willing to bet that Thanksgiving would have been closer to that, closer to where World War III was.
Well, I believe so. It was too. It was
So
November 23rd.
Yeah, so I just double checked. Survivor Series ran on November 9th in 1997, which was that the year that Brett screwed Brett, or was that the year before?
That was 97. That's a screw job, which we'll be covering here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I saw a promo from Brett too. And Thanksgiving took place on November 27th of that year. So I'll give you an idea how close this was to being a Thanksgiving pay-per-view. Now, World War III, it didn't run that long, but I would say it's probably closer to your Royal Rumbles in terms of pay-per-view. There is a similarity of a Battle Royal. This one had a 60-man Battle Royal between three rings, but if I remember correctly, everybody was pretty much in the ring from the get. And
yeah, there was no count on it.
There wasn't a counter. Yeah, I don't know why, but I was trying to say counter, and I was saying calendar. So it was a different approach, and honestly, this is something I would like to see wrestling promotions pull off today. The three rings provide a different way of being able to pull off a match, that's a pay-per-view match, but it also, in other matches that we'll discuss later, there is some people that are able to work in the different rings as part of their own match. It's just something that has that uniqueness that you don't really see much nowadays. And one of the things you and I discuss is, I would really like to see, WWE or AEW implement this. And of the two, I actually think it'll probably be AEW, but they'll just use a different name. Which, speaking of different names, Cody is now Rhodes now.
Yeah, Cody's now Rhodes. He got the rights, and which is good news. I mean, it's keeping on that legacy of the Rhodes name. I'm good to see that and take care of that problem.
Yeah, it would. It would be interesting to see if he would actually, I know why he wants the Rhodes name, and I don't blame him, and I'm glad WWE gave up on it.
Yeah.
Sorry?
There's obvious reasons why he wanted that name, obviously, and I'm glad he got it.
Do you think he's going to try and claim the name Stardust?
As far as claiming the name Stardust, I mean, he could. I mean, obviously, it's not really he had a time with the name Stardust, but obviously, the bigger picture would be the Rhodes name, and it's cool that he has that. So Stardust, he might try to get the name Stardust too to be WWE, but I think we'll see that in time. But obviously, the bigger legacy is the Rhodes name. But he also had some good moments, good times with Stardust name he had for a while too, a couple of years at least.
This is kind of imaginative. It would be kind of funny to see him face against Matt Hardy and having to basically be dashing Cody Rhodes, the mustache Cody Rhodes, and Stardust in that kind of a match.
That dashing gimmick was it was interesting. It wasn't his highlight, obviously, but he might try to incorporate that somewhere along down the road. But if you can get it, but I think him doing dashing in his time. Not really. I wasn't sold on it big time when he did it a while back.
I liked the character, especially when he had the broken nose. I think it was what the storyline was from Rey Mysterio, and he wore the mask and had the bags over it. I'm sorry, that was great heel work. And I know
he made great heel too.
And I know we're kind of veering away from World War III. One of the things that just happened the night before we're recording this is he actually dropped the title to Darby Allin for the TNTA title.
I wasn't too surprised, but at the same time, it was like that was a quick title ring this time around for Cody. Mm-hmm. But the title needs to kind of get around a different stars or upcoming stars. So it's good to see Darby win that title and how we can get to some different people out there. And Darby, of course, we're big fans of Darby. So hopefully I will still have that title for a while, and it will also evolve his character too.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook Live on our Wrestling Still Cool Facebook page. So y'all out there listening, we're on Facebook for Wrestling Still Cool. But hey, y'all doing? Wrestling Still Cool podcast live in my office studio, and KM is a couple states away from me. But it was I didn't get to see the match. I didn't see the whole show, but it was good to see Darby win it though.
Yeah, I paid attention to results. It was necessary.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
It was necessary.
Absolutely.
And apparently TNT's Twitter tweeted out a picture of Darby Allin saying this is our champion too.
Yeah.
It's good to see that they're on board with it.
Yeah. Good support system, and of course Tony Khan is going to help that evolve that title run, and I'm glad they gave it to Darby.
Yep, a new kind of champion. So the first match that was up on World War III is the Faces of Fear, which were the Ming and Barbarian with Jimmy Hart, which I really don't remember Jimmy Hart managing them, against Glacier and Ernest Miller.
I mean, Jimmy being the manager, Faces of Fear.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
She did for a while. The Dungeon of Doom, as they were called as a whole faction. That was after his run with Hogan for a while too, obviously. But yeah, it was all right kickoff for the show.
Do you think the Faces of Fear were a counter programming to the Acolytes?
Well, no, because I don't think so. I mean, it was like you had some tough guy similarities, but
well, yeah, because the Acolytes were for the Ministry, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah,
but I don't think it's counter. I mean, they've been around for a while too.
I get that. It's one of those where I was watching. I'm like, man, these guys are reminding me of the Acolytes.
What's that?
I was just one of those things where I was watching them, and I'm like, these two remind me of the Acolytes. And of course, I actually knew Meng beforehand, but before the Acolytes.
Yeah. But I never thought in that, and me personally, I never thought about in that way with comparing. But as a kid, but watching it, but I thought, huh?
It would have been interesting to see the Faces of Fear versus the APA.
Yeah, it'd be like a dream match. You can say there's, like I said, both two big, four big tough guys in there. But having in at that time period that if one of those teams were in either company, been interested to see. Definitely.
Yeah.
Whoever would have gone over, been interested to see too.
Right. Well, I mean, Ming is known to be a real tough guy, so I have a feeling he would take it.
Oh yeah.
There was a back body drop that they do into a powerbomb. Like Ming tosses Glacier up into a powerbomb from Barbarian. It actually looked like they almost dropped Glacier on his head. That looked kind of scary.
A little nasty. Yeah.
And then Ming pulls off this drop kick later in the match, which I was shocked to see because I don't remember Ming doing a drop kick. But in the end, Jimmy Hart played a factor into it, distracted Ernest Miller. Ernest Miller walks right into the Tongan death grip and taps for the win.
Yeah.
Which, before we progress, they definitely messed up Glacier. Glacier could have worked if they did it right.
They had a different way with Glacier, especially earlier on. I was like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the long karate in-ring entrance that he did. Honestly, took a little long for my taste, but I thought he was a hell of a talent. But it went about it. They could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
But
I get.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say I get it. He had a character that could have been interesting if they would have kept with it. And I think it's funny that you mentioned the long entrance when Undertaker's entrance probably takes about 3 times as long as almost everybody else's on the card.
Yeah, his
the
entrance,
slow walk.
Well, eventually, his entrance evolved a little faster as time went on. Obviously, it's like about a year or so later. I mean, not like it, was another ring down there, but I think more or less late 98, 29, they're a little faster as he evolved his character. But yeah, I understand what you mean by in time. His character in general, he took a while to get down there. Was that him? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely understand. I just was a big fan of the in-ring karate show-off moves. But with WCW, they had there wasn't a whole lot of room a lot of times to evolve into something more, get more time. Let's just say more about the nWo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but what did you feel about this match in itself?
I gave it a 4.5. It was just a cut and dry kind of match. It was okay. I had no problem. I just wasn't overly invested. It was just a cut and dry match.
Yeah.
Nothing too over top.
Yeah, I did a 4. You can tell. You could kind of tell this is early in Ernest Miller's in his career. He didn't have the fake James Brown gimmick going. He didn't really have much of a character. He was just there.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing too. He was still trying to get his what we call mojo.
I'm the greatest one. All right. Then they had DDP with Mark Madden for WCWWrestling.com or WCWrestling.com. I don't remember. I wrote down 2 W's because that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah, I think it's WCW Wrestling, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And then they went into Perry Saturn with versus Disco Inferno, which I made a note of this. Whoa, Saturn with hair. That I was not expecting. And this was for the TV champion, and I can't remember who came out with it, but I know Saturn won the match. That I'm pretty sure he had the title initially, and the announcers were saying like Raven's treating Saturn like his little pet project because he's the only one that he walks to the ring for. And they had the flock out front. But there's a point where Disco goes for a flying crossbody, and Saturn rolls through and applies the Rings of Saturn, and Disco gave up. The Rings of Saturn, which Neville, or what the hell does he go by now? Pac uses.
Yeah.
It's one of those moves that does not look like it's easy to take. It looks like it still hurts no matter how much of a safe worker Saturn tries to be. But would you rate this match?
Give it a 5.3.
A 5-3?